So they have language support, sorry, welcome back, part 4. So they have language support on speaking, and you click here, and here, this is one of 3 pages of a reflective element, provide opportunity for support reflection on both the content learned and the learning process here. And the other page is about keeping learner journals, and there's a reflective prompts at the end to discuss their learning on a metacognitive level in a Skype audio conference at the end. So, here I've got 10 tips about how to speak. Speak English at every opportunity you get. You may or may not agree with these points. But then I've got this over to you. So do you agree with this advice? Why or why not? And I've also opened this page up to discussion. So they can say, I always try to listen to English when watching TV. However, I'm afraid of making mistakes when I'm speaking. So here you've got a bit of a social constructivist element here where they can collaborate. Okay, so click here to go back. And I have done the similar thing with a learner diary here. There's information about keeping a learner diary. This is reflective. What is a learner diary? And I've opened this page up for comments. What language should I use? What form should it take? How much should I write? How often should I write it? And then over to you. Do you keep a diary and or a learner diary? And so on. And here I've opened up comments here. Of course, I posted it. I've never thought about keeping a learner diary before, but it may help me. Does anyone have any good advice on how to keep a diary? Okay, so this is the support I mean here. And let's move on. So now we have the second synchronous Skype meeting. This is when I hand over more control to the students during the second Skype meeting. The remaining tasks in this unit are based on the participation metaphor. We will proceed through the following stages in both Gagne and Suffering-Duffy's model. Now what I mean here is that in the second synchronous meeting, I can provide feedback, assess their performance and so on about the first phase of this unit, about the Foxapop discussion boards and how they got on. And then we're going to go to Suffering-Duffy, as I mentioned earlier, anchoring around hometowns, and this. I'm designing an authentic task, as I've explained before. The second Skype audio conference will be a meeting in small groups of 4 students and the instructor. And here we're going to build group cohesion and explain the problem on the next page, which I'll show you now. Pedagogy. The problems are shown below as I discussed with the learners in our group Skype conference. Remember this, that the students will be able to initiate, sustain and conclude conversation on topics concerning their hometowns and interests with more confidence and fluency. So the students will see this. Good luck with creating your Foxapop messages. Remember what we agreed in our Skype meeting. So the task is that working together in your groups using your own Foxapop talk group, no more than 4 students, post and reply to each other's messages. Okay, so therefore they're in their own group. Let's see how they get on. Then task 2 is have a group audio conference in Skype and post one Skype, the synchronous chat, and post one group message on Foxapop, which I'll supply all details. And in your group message, 1 message per group, you describe where you all come from and compare and contrast your hometowns and describe some things you like doing. Task 3, after task 1 and 2 are completed, is respond to each other's group postings individually, and say what you want. So they can say exactly what they want, and here they are. I'm encouraging them to use Skype independently as well. I'm trying to speak English. Okay, but when we had the Skype meeting, I'll write up a summary about what was agreed, what the students agreed, and giving them ownership of the process to develop a solution. But I can't do this now because I don't know what's been discussed. But this is what I suspect will happen, something like this. The students will split into groups of 4 and own their own talk group on Foxapop. They post messages and reply to each other. They chat on Foxapop asynchronously and Skype synchronously to compile and post one group message on a new talk group thread. All the students have access to this talk group thread. All groups, now if there's 12 students, let's assume 3 groups, do the same more or less. So there'll be 3 compiled group messages on Foxapop. And then we get chaos at the end, the ill-structured task in the social constructivist paradigm, where the students respond individually to the 3 compiled group messages in any way they please. They have total ownership. So we've gone from a teacher-centered to a student-centered instruction here. And then finally, the reflective element. As they said, Safri Duffrey says, to provide opportunity for and support reflection on both the content and learned and the learning process. So here, in the final thing, they're going to have a Skype conference meeting to discuss what they've learnt. We might do this as one group, maybe 2 groups. It depends on the group dynamics. Consider the following points. What did you post on Foxapot? Who did you listen to on Foxapot? And so on. Some comments to make them reflect upon their learning. Here, again, advice about how to keep a learner diary from before, and there's a link which jumps straight back here. I hope. Yep. Okay. And then this is the end of the unit for the students after the meeting. So finally, for you, this is the synchronous audio conference which ends. So, as this courseware, I hope, has demonstrated how I've implemented Gagnier's instructional design, which is more an acquisition metaphor, very teacher-centered, poor knowledge, and how this provides support for the second phase, Safri and Duffy's framework, which is a more participation metaphor, where the students construct their own knowledge. And I will test this courseware in an authentic environment to see if it works. I mean, the design is so that they can actually talk about themselves in their hometowns in a real environment. And then I'll be in a position to make any further adjustments which prove necessary for a polished design. Thank you for listening to me. Are there any questions?